Grace and peace, family. Grace and peace. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. My hotep. Namaste. Free the land, beloved. Come on in, come on in, come on in. I hope that you can see me okay. I don't see where the notifications have gone out yet. But anyway, my name is Vicki Dillard, and I'm an on-air alternative media personality and spiritual teacher. You are tuned into the Vicki Show live here on my own personal channel at vickydillard.tv. I know some of you all are used to seeing me on other platforms. Of course, I see my message on multiple fields. But today you're tuned into the Vicki Show right here on my own personal channel. And I'm starting to give more attention to it. So thank you so very much for your support. Your sister with the curly braids is so pleased that you have joined me today. I do have a little bit of a ritual. So if you would, as you come in, be sure to come in giving us a big thumbs up, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up on the count of 3. I want everybody to be sure to hit that thumbs up button and share, share, share. Are you ready? Oh, I see somebody coming on in. Jenny and some chick named Star, G, Darlene, and others. Thank you so much, family. As you come on in on the count of 3, I want everybody to hit that thumbs up button. Would you? Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thank you so, so very much. I wanted to put my 2 cents in about what has been going on in the news. Of course, I knew this was going on for some time, but my attention was on my recent, absolutely fabulous and amazing webinar, Ancestors webinar. It has been almost 2 years since I did my first Ancestors webinar. And so I have been on a long sabbatical since I've done one of those, and without primarily using any other platform or broadcast but my show, I was able to plug it on one of the other networks, but one of the other ones that you used to see me on that I helped to build over many years. This was just straight me, no shared emails, no nothing. And I was so pleased to see so many of you, and I know many breakthroughs will continue to follow the webinar. Family, I am so excited because the Ancestors webinar is about giving you mystical, let me turn this, mystical knowledge. Are y'all hearing me? It's about giving you the information to know. I don't want this to fall. It's about giving you the information that you need to know that you are the original people. Somebody said you're looking radiant, Sister Vicki. Thank you so much, precious. That you are the original people. And because you're the original people, this is your planet. And so every other person, you know, we used to sing this song growing up, red and yellow, black and white, talking about the different people groups, right? All of those people groups came through the Black woman and their Black father. Talk Black to me, somebody. We are the mothers and fathers of civilization. And by divine allowance and divine scripting, the most recent people to our planet have been doing extraordinary damage over the past several thousand years, but most intently over the past 500 years. And it has been prophesied and it has been written that in due course, their time to rule our planet would be up. The reason being is because they're ruling it with wickedness. Talk Black to me, somebody, and evil. So we, unfortunately, who were the tail, we're going to be the head. And I know some of you all are thinking it's an impossibility. You're saying that we're not ready. But beloved, are you sitting here telling me that our open enemy is more qualified? Talk Black to me. See, this is where I cut ties with some of you knuckleheads that's out there sitting up there saying that if Black folks get reparations today, all we're going to do is give it back to the white man. Of course, we know the system is set up to where that would obviously be a possibility. But you can't speak for every single Black person. And even if that's the case, that doesn't mean we're still not entitled to what's justly due us. Can you imagine going to court and winning a legal lawsuit? And then the person that you win the lawsuit against, let's say they ran into your car or something that did some damage and you won in court, and they want to know whether or not, you know, you were suspended in 9th grade from school. to determine whether or not you're going to get what's yours. They want to know how you're going to spend your money before they determine they're going to do what's right. If I decided that I was going to go get me, you know, some 1,000 packs, 10,000 packs of 99-cent candy chews from the dollar store with my money, that would be my business. You don't tell the aggrieved, you don't steal something, you don't go rob a man or a woman's home. And because you managed to steal what did not belong to you in the first place, now that you're caught, and now it's time for you to have to turn it over, and justice has come, you want to sit there, the thief want to sit there and try to qualify what their owners are due. How is a thief going to sit there and want to make sure I got a bank account open, that I have a house to live in? You don't get to ask me nothing, thief, criminal, devil. This is some madness. It was another point that I was wanting to make, but I digress. You don't get to tell us nothing. The thief is sitting here running the whole world, and y'all want me to feel like Black folks ought to wait to get what's ours, while the people that ate our ancestors' body parts and crucified them on multiple crosses, said that we were property, sodomized you, sexually assaulted you, impregnated you, committed the most egregious Holocaust that's ever been known to mankind or human beings, the Holocaust that's lasted longer than any other Holocaust. And we have not, the oppressor is still oppressing us, and we still don't have reparations. Y'all are sitting there saying we ain't ready for it yet. So by you saying that, you are also, when we deduce your comments, you're simply saying that our wicked, terroristic, criminal open enemies are more qualified to keep it until we're ready. You must be out of your pea brain mind, devil. Of course, we want to get a plan together so that we can keep as much money of our as much of our resources together as possible. But while we are desiring that and wanting to build that, does not mean we're supposed to sit up and quote unquote wait till everybody's ready. You sound crazy. Talk black to me. I wanted to simply say on the side note, as y'all keep hitting that thumbs up button, share, share, share. I know the notifications haven't gone out, but that's okay. I always say the right people at the right time will hear this broadcast, and you can help make that happen by hitting that thumbs up button and sharing. Again, on the count of 3, everybody hit that thumbs up button quickly. 1, 2, 3, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. I have to say that because some of you have said that. They got us believing stuff like that. So I've got to shut down how stupid and dumb that is. You don't sound smart. You don't look smart. You don't look intelligent. Saying dumb stuff like that. I'm here to help you. When you say Black folks aren't ready for reparations, you are sitting here saying that your thieving open enemy, who is a beast by nature, their systems, their oppressive systems that keep you stuck are wicked and beastly. You're saying they're more qualified to keep it. Let's be out of your mind. You don't get to dictate nothing when it comes down to justice and reparations that's due to us. Yes, we got work to do. Yes, we need to be strategic so much of that doesn't go right back into that community. But that shouldn't stop or delay us getting what belongs to us, notwithstanding what we individually do with our resources. Talk black to me. Hit that thumbs up button, family. Thank you all so much for your beautiful showing, your wonderful energy for my ancestors webinar that just took place on Sunday. It was absolutely amazing. It was a magical time. Y'all, the webinar was supposed to be 2 hours. It was 3.5. My brother Rod Hayes came in and just went crazy. We dropped absolute glorious keys and mysteries that have to do with the knowledge of what's already in you. The thing that they told you was demonic. I know because I was raised in a Christian home. Don't play with me. They told us, and our open enemy gave us the understanding of certain interpretations of scripture. But I still had family members that were scholars that were still kind of dropping knowledge on the sides, doing certain types of research to where I knew that wasn't the whole story. They told you that your ancestors are demonic. They told you every black system and its practices and rituals were demonic, but they secretly use it, and it's all laced through the scriptures while they done made all kind of mess with it. They secretly use your black magic and tell you it's of the devil. Now, every 5 minutes, they reverencing their ancestors. Every time you go to one of their museums, every time you go to one of their capitals, you pass one of their libraries, one of their streets, one of their buildings. When you use the dollar, do you know you are activating a certain type of ancestor worship or reverence because their face and their images is embedded on that? So you very ones that will tell somebody if you got a statue, that's idolatry. But every day, every minute of the hour you use it, man, you ain't ready for that. If you missed it, the replay is available now for purchase at VickiPlanet.com. I will put, I don't see any of my moderators here, and of course not, because y'all know I just pop up when I go live. You can tell we really put it down because I am still hoarse and trying to get my voice back. But I wanted to come to you very briefly. Let me see. Can I pin this? Go to VickiPlanet.com if you want to get the replay. Make the investment in you and your lineage. If you're dealing with certain types of patterns, certain types of problematic behaviors that you're seeing in you and your children that you want to break, this is for you. If you want to understand the magic that was stolen by the Vatican, some of y'all sitting there thinking it's about Christianity, it's about the Bible. No, it's about the theft of your black magic. They laced it and cloaked it in religion to keep you blind, deaf, and dumb. Talk black to me, somebody. And got you sitting here fighting over stupid stuff while you remain powerless. On the count of 3, y'all hit that thumbs up button. 1, 2, 3, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. So be sure to go to VickiPlanet.com. I put the link in the chat. Go there, get the replay, make the investment in your family. If you want something you never had, you've got to do something you've never done. Somebody said that my sister cut me off because I gave up religion. The truth is hard for some people. Yes, baby, bye. No disrespect. I'm not saying that it's easy. I've lived a very tumultuous life, so I'm not one that would just sit here and flippantly make such comments. But after my 44 years of living and my interaction with immortals, because see, I couldn't work with just mortals. The mortals are the ones that abandoned me. The mortals were the one that mocked me. The mortals are the one that crucified me. The mortals are the one that lied on me, slandered me, talked black to me. The mortals were the one that was doing this weird stuff against me, publicly and privately. So I had to rely on the world I couldn't see in order to affect the world that I can see. So I know this is real. But sometimes a rejection from our family, you've heard the statement that rejection is protection. But one of the things that we discussed in our webinar, shout out to my brother Rod Hayes, one of the things he said is those of you that are considered to be, quote unquote, the black sheep of your family, he said you had to be that in order to break the curse off your family. He said your family had to put enough pressure on you to break. Your own family had to put you through enough hell. And how many of you all know what else does pressure form? What else does pressure form when something is in this cold state? Pressure is what makes diamonds, yes? Somebody said, I watched your video from Rod Hayes. Yes. Oh, you talking about the one I did, was it earlier this year or last year? I was on Brother Rich's channel, and he surprised me by bringing him on because he wanted me to know that there were some black men that really had the divine feminine's back. Not often enough. I can only count on maybe 2 hands, and no disrespect, not even 2 hands, 2 fingers, 2 or 3 fingers, the number of men that really, really strongly understand the power of the divine feminine woman. And when I work with those men, I move with an ease and a flow. Talk black to me. They understand the divine feminine. It's not about the ego, and it's not about this, that, and the third. It's Karen. You know, I'm going to give these Karens this everlasting work whenever they put their 2 cents in our very black business. Y'all know her. Amy Schumer. So you all are very aware of what's going on with Israel's genocide and mass murder of the people of Gaza, the Palestinian people. Yes. You all know I've done a few weeks ago, an interview with the UK journalist, my brother Richard Sudan. He's an expert on a lot that's happened in Palestine long before the Palestinian people who have the right to resist. We keep hearing this mess about Israel have the right to defend themselves. Palestinians have the right to resist, like black folks have the right to resist. I keep talking about this, how in the United States of America, whenever these white supremacists try to take one of us out, or they take one of us out, they turn around with the quickness to tell us forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. That's not how your white brother and sister in Christ acts. They start pulling out the guns and the AK-47s. They looking for nuclear codes and stuff. Talk black to me. So, you know what's going on over there, right? And in that video, by the way, go to my live videos. You'll see the interview that I did with my brother. It was very powerful. And I connect some dots to Israel's targeting of black youth. I've been talking about that for years, but I keep bringing it up. I said, I've been talking about that for years, but I keep bringing it up. That one of Israel's top government officials, one of their former government officials of the Israeli consul, she specifically said and was recorded in a private meeting saying that the problem with Israel were the black American youth. I covered that years ago. I covered it a few months ago on multiple platforms, and I'm going to keep talking about it because it's interconnected to what's happening geopolitically or globally. You got that right. Who said that? Do you follow me on Twitter? Because I said that on Twitter. Who said that Idi Amin said the same thing? He sure did. Now, they told us Idi Amin was some kind of black animal leader in Africa. Idi Amin back in the day was calling him out. He'd been called out the agenda. There was others too, but I'm just saying. You got to keep in mind the ones that they try to demonize, you better pay attention. But I digress. So you all know this is what's going on in the world, right? So Amy Schumer, with her funny looking self, she had the nerve to invoke Dr. King, a statement that Dr. King said years ago, talking about the Jewish people. She had the nerve to invoke something he said a long time ago in order to defend the Jewish people. Now, my understanding, if my research is correct on this Amy Schumer chick, she was originally, I believe, Christian, but she converted to Judaism. And she's some kind of second cousin, I believe, to the U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer. How many of y'all know who Chuck Schumer is? The senator out of New York. So Amy Schumer is this TV comedian. I'm going to say something else, but I'm going to leave that alone. And her cousin, her second cousin, is a U.S. senator. So he said something in the past, something went down in the past. I think Trump made fun of her uncle crying about something. I think Trump said his tears was fake or something. So she came out a long time ago and defended him. So she crossed over with her entertainment Hollywood, from the Hollywood lane. She jumped in the political lane to defend her cousin. And I think she'd been giving her a little 2 cents here and there. Well, I got to put Karen in her place. Let me tell you something. And y'all need to tag her and your congressional representatives and call her funny looking self out. This white woman, Karen, you better keep our black legend's name out your mouth. And don't make me mess up my curls. Talk black to me. You better keep their names out your disgusting mouth. Now, to give you some context, again, I'm reading from this piece. Let me turn it this way so you can see the headline a little better. This is the headline. The headline says, Amy Schumer gets a response from MLK's daughter after tweeting a video of his support for Israel. So shout out to Bernice King, who had to shut her down. Let me read a little bit of this. After comedian Amy Schumer posted a video featuring clips of Martin Luther King Jr. speaking in support of Israel and denouncing anti-Semitism, his daughter Bernice King felt compelled to clarify what her father's stance would be on the war between Israel and Hamas. This is what Bernice King said on Twitter. Let me just pull up her Twitter on the Twitter page. This is Bernice King's Twitter page. So Miss Bernice King had to put this funny looking Karen in her place for invoking her father's name. Now, let me tell y'all something before you sit up here and miss what's happening metaphysically. This is what my ancestors webinar is about. Some of y'all might be saying, what do you mean? Do you know when she invoked Martin Luther King's name, she was invoking Black ancestral reverence? She was still using the power that his name and his vibration carries. I don't play about that, baby. Somebody better put a sword in the chat. I was thinking of some different other kind of names to call her. The emojis failed me. You all don't understand how this works. The remembrance of our Black heavyweights are so powerful that the dirty little powers that shouldn't be, in order to justify and cover their devilment, still invoke them because their vibration. You're going to say, well, he wasn't the president. You're going to say, well, America still assassinated him. But they still understand his power the same way with Malcolm X. They demonized Malcolm X. They demonized and made him like he was a terrorist and everything else, but they turn around and give him a stamp at the post office. They invoke the dead. They raise the Black dead when they have an agenda in modern times. Did you catch that? You ain't ready for this esoteric knowledge. I said they raise the Black dead when they have an agenda. See, that's your problem when you view our force and energy just one way. We carry weight in multiple spheres and many years after we passed over. So they raise the dead, they whitewash them, they sanitize them, and then they control the narrative concerning them so that you don't get any bright ideas and focus on the most recent stuff that Dr. King did before they took him out. What was the most recent thing Dr. King was talking about before they took him out? Dr. King said, we're coming to get our check. Dr. King was specifically demanding reparations for Black folk. And around the same time, he also called out the unjust wars that America was involved in, like Vietnam. He connected the dots between the depravity of Black Americans and the dollars and cents and the currency and the blood that we were shedding across the waters. So when some of you all ask questions and say, what this got to do with us? You don't need to speak on it. You're right. You should shut up, but you better not come to Vicki Dillard and tell me nothing. You can be seated because you weren't born to do what I do. And you certainly can't be talking to me when I'm the most uncheckable, and I have stood and continue to stand and be an advocate for my brothers and sisters here in the United States as a priority. Sit. Some of you scared to death. Some of you all listen to stupidity with your parochial, narrow-minded self. You shouldn't be talking about it. But you better not find yourself in my comments or DMs saying, what am I talking about this for? Itty bittiness, just hush. See, grown-ups need to learn restraint and discipline. You should know better that there are some things that you may not understand. Just shut your mouth. Go meditate. Everything you don't need to comment on. Everything you don't need to understand. But I know I'm the original woman. I know that by divine right, my birthright, and my particular contractual assignment with the earth at this time, I'm supposed to be a voice to the nations in my own way. If this is my world, and it is, somebody put a globe in the chat. Slowness. Somebody put a turtle in the chat real quick. I'm supposed to speak on global issues because it's my world, silly. I know you can't do more than one thing at a time. Just don't think you come over here running nothing with me. God knows you better not compare what I do to nobody else's with your scary self. Vicki, get back to this. So back to Bernice King's. This is her actual Twitter page. Bernice King, she had to put this white woman in her place. We always got to put you funny looking Karens in your place. Miss Bernice King said, certainly my father was against anti-Semitism as I am. She said he also believed that militarism, along with racism and poverty, to be among the interconnected triple evils. Did y'all catch that? This is her putting this white woman in her place. She says, I am certain, watch this, that he would call for Israel's bombing of Palestinians to cease, for hostages to be released, and for us to work with true peace, and for us to work for true peace, which includes justice. He said, justice at its best is love correcting everything that stands against love. She said, we have much to correct. She said, here is a clip of my father talking about withdrawing from Vietnam War and moral power. Shout out to the black woman that put that Karen in her place. See, you can't let this white woman run rampant and do black ancestor reverence. I just did something right there, didn't I? Y'all don't get it. This white woman felt comfortable accessing and stealing black power to cover their madness. But we're going to shut your funny looking self down every single time. Trick. You ain't the original woman. Let me see if my sound is working so you can hear this.
Will abuse its power.
This is a clip that Bernice King had to share to let her know that if her daddy would be alive today, she done raised the dead. This white woman done raised the dead. I need you all to see that being the equivalent of her going to do cemetery magic with somebody whose bloodline she doesn't share. Somebody put a sword in the chat. I need to calm down. Trick, you got me messed up in the spirit if you think we're going to let you invoke our ancestors' name. You got us messed up, girl. Some of y'all don't get how serious this is. Watch this clip. Oh, here we go. This was Amy Schumer funny looking self. Amy Schumer gonna put out the clip. I'm not gonna even play the whole thing, but this is the one she put out.
Israel must exist and has the right to exist and is one of the great outposts of democracy in the world.
My Jewish brothers and sisters said to me amid anti-Semitism anywhere, we don't need your support. We have enough Jewish power to deal with this problem ourselves.
Now let's be clear. There was a couple three Small handful of Jewish people that was walking with Dr. King during the marches. Now you got to understand that Dr. King was also not privy to this global Zionist movement. So don't be stupid, family. Don't you know that as our brother was uncovering this global agenda, he started shutting stuff down? Talk black to me. When his eyes were open to realize what was really going on and how they were conflating Judaism with this Zionist movement, and they laced religion with its fake, false interpretation and application with this diabolical agenda that certain Zionists have, don't you all know he wouldn't have said that? Let's be clear. She's trying to conflate that. Girl, sit down. So in response to that video, she raised the black dead. Y'all don't play with me. She raised the black, can you imagine? She opened up her pale-faced mouth and released Dr. King to cover up the madness and genocide that's going on over there. What does this got to do with us? She used the foundation of Black Americans, silly, and connected it with a global issue. Because that's how powerful we are even in death. So what did he do? Well, I mean, so what did Dr. King's daughter, in addition to her checking this Karen, she turned around and put this video out instead. Oh, it's slowing down. Hold on. Let me see.
The war in Vietnam could be stopped now without harm to this country?
Well, there are two ways to deal with it. One is a unilateral withdrawal. I don't oppose that because I feel that this is a possibility. After all, France withdrew unilaterally from Algeria, withdrew without a military victory. Mm-hmm. And this did not lessen France's prestige or influence in the world. If anything, it increased its prestige in the world.
It's not the power that this country has.
Well, I think that's an even greater reason why we should restrain our power. There's always the danger that any nation will abuse its power. And I think our power must be much more than military power. We don't need to prove to the world or anybody our military power. I think we've got to prove our moral power.
Do you feel that this nation has abused, as you say, their power?
Oh, I certainly do in the war.
But Dr. King, that the war in Vietnam could be stopped.
Did y'all hear that? Thank you, somebody say thank you, Bernice King. Thank you for putting that Karen in her place. Now, I know this took place a couple of weeks ago. I told you, y'all know your sister with Curly Bray's been dealing with my health. I was focused on my webinar and some other behind-the-scenes things. But you all know I talk about stuff when I feel like it and when Spirit leads me to do so. And I want to be on the record as telling her to shut her mouth. And don't you ever do it again, WKKK. I said, don't you ever do it again, WKKK. Y'all know I've been talking about the WKKK for years. I will raise the dead as I see fit. God, today. Talking about Karen, Grandma Karen, great-grandma Karen, great-grandma Gretchen. What do you mean? Somebody say, prove it, Vicki. My day ones know, y'all. I know y'all like, Vicki, we done seen you on multiple platforms. You have always talked about the WKKK. You darn right I have. I don't care where you see me. You here watching me at VickiDillard.tv. Some of y'all done seen me on other networks, Fly Nubian Queen, African Diaspora News Channel, other platforms, Twitter, Facebook. I talk about them everywhere. Full-blown broadcasts and clips. Grandma, great-grandma Karen. You ain't no victim. Look at that picture. I said, look at that picture. I said, look at the picture. Ain't none of them innocent. What is it? A brief history of the women's KKK. Do you all know that's a real thing, WKKK? And it wasn't no side piece. She wasn't just incidental to her husband and her sons that was out there committing terrorism against our people. She was one of the most intricate and most effective implementers of our destruction. As this piece says, in American society, women are often, white women, the piece says, are often understood as victims. But we, for I am a white woman, the woman who wrote this is named Emily Catino. She said, for I am a white woman can also be a perpetrator. Yes, Karen, I know. Thank you for saying it, though, girl. Thank you for saying it, girl. Thank you. Keep reading her article, Vicki. Because I'm trying to tell you, this is Amy Schumer is the WKKK. And I'm pleased to put my political proverbial foot on her neck. Somebody put some stilettos in the chat. God, today. And again, I said proverbial. You always got to make that disclaimer in case there's somebody out there whose brain ain't doing right. Mine is off. Watch this. This peculiar dichotomy has exploded into the national consciousness during this summer's long overdue reckoning over race. Some white women, while teetering on the ladder of privilege, wield their anger as a weapon against those less powerful, with less power than them. But this dynamic is not new. I'm going to skip. The first iteration of the KKK sprung up in Tennessee, Pulaski, Tennessee. Am I pronouncing it right? Tennessee, even though Tennessee was a neighbor to my home state, Mississippi. After the Civil War, formed by men who were disgruntled about the newly freed blacks, resentful about enfranchisement, meaning us actually having some rights, the possibility of that, and craving meaning, excitement, and socially sanctioned venue in which to commit acts of violence. Contemporary observers said that these early KKK vigilantes wanted, quote, novelty and mystery and secrecy. I'm going to say those three things again. They wanted novelty, they wanted mystery, they wanted secrecy. As Attorney General of Mississippi testified in 1871, and they got it, designing elaborate, arcane rituals. See, y'all don't, Vicki, read. Designing elaborate, arcane rituals and rigid hierarchies through which to further their hateful Reconstruction agenda. Somebody say they operate in rituals. They wanted mystery and secrecy. Don't play with it. Some of y'all don't get that. Talking about they Christian. And they doing these diabolical rituals, and you want to talk to me about somebody that's into witchcraft. The people that cut off your mother's breasts, your father's phallus, raped and sodomized them both, that's the one you gonna sit here and say, your religion, you gonna say to us that our religion is demonic. Man, you better go sit your, you better get out of my face. Watch this. She talks about how women didn't participate in this iteration of the Klan except as auxiliaries. Some sold or lent clothes to their husbands and family members to aid in their costume rituals and racist activities. But women also played a symbolic role in the version of the Klan. One stated goals of the terrorists was, as they would have understood it, to shield angelic feminine innocence from the terrifying black demons. Did y'all see that? Are y'all listening to the language they used? This white woman who admits she's white, who admits that they are perpetrators, she specifically says, as they would have understood it, they were shielding angelic, listen to the language, female innocence, that white woman, from terrifying black, and she quotes this part, demons. Everything you see it's got some astral or spiritual or unseen element to it. That's the reason why I know I'm on it as a spiritual teacher. That's why you can't tell me nothing. They're inextricably connected. You can't talk to me about politics and what's going on in the government, because you're going to think, if you're not connected, I keep saying this, if you're not connected to the unseen, if you're not connected to the ethers, you're going to misread what's happening on earth. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to keep saying it. I don't care if you don't like it. If you are not connected to the unseen, if you're not connected to the astrals, you're going to misread what's happening on earth. By the way, I'm going to be starting the Vicki Dillard Mystery School. My once a month mastermind course is going to be very inexpensive, maybe like $40-something. Derek, your Cash App gift is blessed 1,000-fold. Y'all have been blowing up my Cash Apps for some weeks now, and I want to thank you so much. And please know that every one of your gifts are blessed 1,000-fold. Thank you so much. Shout out to my beautiful moderator. They're highlighted in blue. Aquarius 79 is one of them. They're putting important links and information in the chat. So thank you all so much for your support. Don't think you're doing me a favor just by when you do $1 here and there and this kind of stuff, and they want to act like, well, they're out and help the girl. No, I'm helping you. It's an energetic exchange. So it just makes sense that you would do that. And when you do that, please know I'm humbled by it, and your gift is blessed. And you can actually say that you're doing something tangible to push forward this revolution. When you make sure that those that speak for you are good, when you make sure that we're able to have the necessary resources that we need to continue to do what we need to do, you are actually in the game. You're not just some spectator. Listen, this is a very involved article, which I'm not going to read all this, but I want to go to this important point. She talks about how the Klan first collapsed in the 1870s, but the organization had yet to see its heyday, right? The second Klan began in 1915. You all know I talk about this all the time. I don't even need to tell you what it's going to say, because you all should know it, because I've been teaching you this for years. Rahman Ali, your gift is blessed, beloved 1,000-fold. He's one of my good supporters. Watch this. The second Klan began in 1915 following an anti-Semitic lynching, it says, of a pencil factory superintendent in Atlanta and a cross burning on Stone Mountain, also in Georgia. The new Klan, which attracted between 3 to 6 million Americans, y'all hear that? Throughout the 1920s, differed from its predecessor in key ways. It was in full view of the public, and it even intertwined American government. I hope y'all didn't miss that. It spread far beyond the South, sweeping throughout the United States. So you got to get that. Ain't nobody innocent in America. The same way the North and the South weren't tripping really for the most part about slavery. Don't be talking about that just one little handful of white folks that were like Quaker types. The fight between the North and the South, beloved, was a political fight. The North, for the most part, wasn't all that upset about no slavery. They were upset with the South because the South was becoming rich and powerful because of slavery. They came up also in part with the agreement of calling us 3/5 of a human being, not only because they considered us to be property, but because that was a political negotiation. Because some of the Southerners were counting full slaves as individuals in the South, that gave them the right to have more representation in Congress. So instead of calling you a full human being, they came to the negotiation, the agreement of 3/5. That was one of the reasons they did that. So not only were they becoming more politically powerful, slavery enriched the Southerners. They had large, wealthy plantations, and the North was jealous. I'm talking about for the overwhelming number of Americans at that time, not that little one handful of white folks that was helping with the Underground Railroad. They were the minority. Shout out to them, but that's just to keep it in perspective. But the KKK, it says, went beyond the South, sweeping throughout the United States. The rejuvenated KKK targeted Catholics, Jews, Asian Americans, Mormons, immigrants, socialists, labor radicals, dance hall owners, and more than a heaping dose of the pseudoscience of eugenics. Did y'all know that? So when they be telling us about the KKK hate all the Jews, baby, the rejuvenated KKK targeted what? They were targeting all of those different groups. Watch this. And the top target of all those different groups were what? Well, who? Guess. Guess. The rejuvenated one targeted any and everybody, but who was the main target? We even let nobody off. Black folks were always the main target and the underdog. Watch this. Paid organizers would visit an area to figure out who the white Protestants were anxious about, then drum up support for the Klan in that area by sowing fear and hatred of the outgroup for a joining fee. This is how the Klan managed to spread to areas without sizable Black population. When I was growing up, this writer says, I heard stories from elderly relatives about the Klan marching through my very white home state of New Hampshire, raging against the Catholic French Canadians. Watch this. So we keep letting white folks, we don't care about you having all them different classifications, white people. At the end of the day, black folks were still the #1 target. The same way some of you white folks like to use your religion to cover your madness. That's the reason why I keep telling you, black folks, when you jump on these labels, where I love the Democrats more than Republicans. Be a Christian over this one. Silly, you tricking yourself. When y'all start talking about classism is the same as racism, you out of your pea-brain mind. You're creating labels and categories that your open enemy can hide in. And they get upset because when they invoke their religion and we still call out their racism and their white supremacy, they get upset and then they turn around and they invoke that label and they turn around, for example, and call you anti-Semitic if you're talking about their behavior. You can't tell black folks, who are the most oppressed people on the planet, the most loving, kind, most spiritual and religious people on the planet, you can't tell us nothing. You can't tell us we're anti-nothing. We're the sweetest, kindest people you know. That's a trick. And that's the reason why Minister Farrakhan is suing the ADL, Simon Wiesenthal Center, and some of the others right now, because they keep accusing black folks and whites, but sure enough, a lot of black folks of being anti-Semitic. We are Semitic people, and most importantly, we're the most loving, kind people on the planet. With your funny looking self. Watch this. Thumbs up, thumbs up. I gotta skip through this. This is talking about the WKKK. Watch this. I want you to hear this part. This is what I'm talking about, the WKKK, the white women Ku Klux Klan. The early history of the WKKK was beset by intra-Klan squabbles. So white folks was doing what a lot of white folks do, fighting and beefing. Y'all love to talk about black on black crime, baby. You ain't never seen no black folks do the kind of warring that white folks do concerning whole land masses and for the reasons in which they do it. Watch this. The early history of the WKKK was beset by intra-Klan squabbles. One male Klan leader started the Camellias, a women's white supremacy group, to augment his own power, while another allied with the women's secret society called the Queens of the Golden Mask. Did you all know that there was one of the white women's secret societies called the Queens of the Golden Mask? The Golden Mask eventually won out and became the WKKK, which received its first official charter in Little Rock, Arkansas in 1923. At its peak, historian Kathleen M. Blee explains in Feminist Studies that the WKKK had chapters in every state. Oh, I'm going to tell them. I'm going to tell them the Karens and Gretchens and Matildas. With special interest in Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania, and Arkansas. Like the male version of the KKK, the WKKK had all the hierarchical, listen, and ironically, y'all ain't ready for this next part, very Roman Catholic trappings. On the one hand, you heard that one of the categories of individuals they claimed that they targeted were Catholics, right? But they had all the trappings of Rome. Vicki, read. Vicki, just keep going, because I got to go. Watch this. Watch this. I got to remind y'all of stuff, on how deep this is. The imperial commander, listen to the hierarchy they had, this secret society, the rituals. The imperial commander, the caliphs, the clocards, the Kilgraphs, the Claybys, and the Klexter Cloragos, who enforced Klan conduct, initiated new members. Listen to the language. Initiated new members, collected dues, and planned events. Do you all understand that even in their madness, they made sure to keep the war chest fat? So when you be sitting up here complaining about helping somebody that speaks for you, you see how crazy you look and sound? This was a no-brainer. I just had to throw that out there real quick because they were talking about collecting dues. I had to throw that out there. Watch this. And I'm going to keep throwing it out there. And planned events. What did they do? I just listed several of the titles of some of their hierarchical roles. Watch this. All of these roles and activities were filtered through the lenses of racism, nationalism, xenophobia, and a desire to preserve the family and combat what they perceived as moral decay. Watch this. With a few exceptions, such as a 1924 riot in which the WKKK members paraded around with clubs. This is the white women. The WKKK did not engage in the lynching and other acts of violence of their male counterparts. This lack of physical violence had led many historical commentators to view the WKKK members, and indeed all women involved in racist movements, as shadowy, inconsequential figures lurking behind the male figures. So in other words, the writer is saying that because you didn't see the white women out there front and center during the lynchings, you thought that they were inconsequential to the racism and oppression. Watch this. But in fact, somebody say, but in fact, I hear y'all talking around the world. But in fact, the WKKK was deeply, regrettably powerful, she says. According to Blee, they were, quote, covert manipulators and cultural organizers. Did you hear what I said? They were covert manipulators. And what? Cultural organizers. Using their social power to further their agenda. This is what you've got to understand. Using their what? Their social power. Don't you sit here and turn your nose up at the feminine power. Some of you all think that because you only do violence, that men are the only ones that got power. Are you crazy, silly? And as much as the Caucasian tended to hate their own woman throughout the years, especially so many of these Europeans, they still understand their unique place in white supremacy's agenda. Many of these women were already savvy social players. Post-World War I, Protestant social clubs and organizations were natural, listen to how they label this, were natural feeder groups for the WKKK. These women led what they call poison squads. These are literal names that they used for their secret society. These women led poison squads or whisper networks. Y'all better understand power. To destroy the reputations of anti-Klan political candidates by claiming they were Catholic or Jewish. They tried to oust Catholic public school teachers, led boycotts of businesses, and campaigned for pro-Klan candidates. Look at how they functioned. Watch this. They built social ties by donating milk to school children and food baskets to needy families, and by planning weddings, christenings, funerals, carnivals, lectures, speeches, and parades, complete with floats and lady horseback riders. Some of y'all too blind to see that was power. I hope y'all learning. I hope you're picking up this game. I hope you're not just being outraged. I hope you're listening to your sister with the curly braids and trying to figure out what you can do in the opposite direction for the liberation of your people. Thumbs up, share, share, share. By planning ritual and social events, these women wove the Klan and its values, somebody say wove, into the fabric of American social life. Indeed, for them, quote, all the good people belong to the Klan. Scholars of the WKKK and the general KKK emphasize that these organizations were frighteningly precisely because of their easy compatibility with homogenous small town America. The WKKK did not appeal to women because it was so novel. I'm going to say that again. The WKKK did not appeal to women because it was novel, but rather because it and its ideals and rituals fit quite naturally with white Protestant American life. It goes on talking about the reflections of former WKKK members demonstrate how many of these women viewed their organization as social clubs and a chance for a nice time with family. It's so much more here, family, but I wanted to read those particular parts, and this one part, I'm skipping. This was partly a recruitment tactic, some of their events, because I'm skipping. White women newly able to vote and enjoying political power for the first time. What do white women, y'all know how they love to try to say, well, white women couldn't vote either. They got their votes a long time later too. Watch this. What did white women do when they got, quote unquote, the right to vote? Even though they were already benefiting because their white husbands and daddies had the right to vote. So there were obviously benefits they got because of that. But nevertheless, what did white women do? Watch this. With white women newly able to vote and enjoying political power for the first time, the WKKK lured members by positioning itself as a safeguard for those newly won rights. A recruitment ad for the Indiana WKKK showcased this strategy. This is a literal quote from one of the white women. After white women got the freedom to vote, look what they did with it. This is one of their ads that they put out. WKKK. Y'all listening? Men no longer aspire to exclusive domination in any field of endeavor. That his authorship, and whether she wears a cool, sequestered veil of life in the home or whether she is the busy walks of business or fashion, woman is now called to put her splendid efforts and abilities behind a movement for 100% American women. It says, but scholars of the WKKK also report that this wasn't only a recruitment tactic. It seems that some of these women actually saw the WKKK as a vehicle through which to protect and consolidate the rights of white Protestant women. In order for them to understand how a commitment to feminism became tangled up with the commitment to racism, it's instructional to examine the history of women's participation in other social movements of the late 19th and early 20th century. Both the temperance and suffrage movements were shot through with racism and nativism. I'm going to say that again. Both the temperance and suffrage movements had to do with the white women, right? Were shot through with racism and nativism. I'm reading, beloved. So whoever just asked that, always rewind. You can always rewind the video because I always show you what I'm reading from, but here you go. It's an article from the Daily Jastor, JSTOR, that's titled A Brief History of Women's WKKK. You can screenshot or rewind the video and you can pull it up. There's plenty of other articles that I've read from in times past, but this is one of the more accessible ones that has some of the relevant information that I wanted to remind you of. Now, why am I bringing it up? I'm trying to show you the function of these knucklehead women like Amy Schumer that open up their mouths. And it's not by accident that her uncle is one of the most powerful politicians in Washington, D.C., and that she comes to her aid and she used her power in tandem with theirs to amplify theirs as a social mechanism, and she uses her feminine qualities to do so. You understand? You're welcome, beloved. I'm simply saying to the sisters, I think that's what we should do too and continue to do. We're the original homemakers. There's a reason they stopped calling marriages institutions. There's a reason they stopped using phrases like home training. Because see, when you use words like that, you understand that they're connected to power. Because when you hear the word institution, some of you all are thinking about more quote unquote formal organizations. When you don't even understand that the true power, as I always said, turn your house into a headquarter, can shape everything. Family, Amy Schumer better sit up funny looking self down, and never again shall we ever let their dirty, disgusting, oppressive mouths conflate our words and our issues to cover up their diabolical, demonic madness. She engaged in a spiritual felony by invoking and activating our Black ancestor. She raised him from the dead for her own madness, and they always do that. And we got to stop them at the door because this is a spiritual thing. Did y'all hear what I just said? The fact that you got to sit up here and beg white America to do right by Black folks. We have to beg them to see the justice and the righteousness of giving us reparations, and us making all these comparisons that you've given Japanese reparations, you've given white folks reparations, you keep giving white women all types of reparations in different forms, you keep giving other people groups reparations, illegal immigrants reparations, legal immigrants reparations, you're giving everybody reparations but us, and you're sending billions and billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine, and most of us don't even feel it, but we still sitting up here having to beg the founders and builders and sustainers of the United States of America for one red cent of reparation. Family, when we kept telling them Black Lives Matter and all this kind of stuff, now we're sitting here ignoring what's really happening in Sudan, which I have been discussing and doing coverage on Sudan in different ways on African Diaspora News channel. I have been discussing the uprisings that's happening throughout the Sahel and West Africa. Yes. And I discussed what's been happening in Gaza and Israel. Do you understand that when we have to beg and plead them folks, we're going to call them, to see the madness in their behavior, you should know, baby, we ain't the same. Somebody need to be trying to scratch their head and say, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Not wait a minute, wait a minute. It's wait a minute. That's part of the Victionary, not the dictionary, the Victionary. That's my book of words. I grew up hearing some of us say that sometimes. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Family, if I see a lion in the jungle, I'm not going to sit up there and domesticate it, try to reason with it, and ask it dumb questions and say dumb stuff like, can't we just all get along? No. Your history tells me, your record, your behavior shows me something about us ain't the same. You don't think it's strange when the lion and the tiger and bear is acting like the animal it is? I'm using that as an analogy. None of us sit there and say, wonder why. No, we see you for what you are. And we just be like, oh, okay. We don't stress out ourselves, distract ourselves, misuse our energy, trying to understand why you don't like us. That's dumb. It's not that there's something wrong with them. Black folks, after thousands of years, and most intently the past 500 years, if you still asking dumb questions, it ain't them, it's you. Something wrong with you, family. People that prove that they're impossible to get along with. What are you doing? Still sitting up there acting out. Can we all get what? I'm not sitting here trying to understand no enemies no more. It's not my job to understand how your DNA and your RNA is. It's not for me to figure out your childhood trauma. Some of you all be wanting folks to go through that for you. But you're a stranger to me. I just met you yesterday. And you be thinking you entitled to strangers' attention, resources, and magic? Are you crazy? Well, she done been through. I don't do the therapy. I don't know about that therapy. I don't do that. I don't let people lay up on couches and just listen to. That's not my assignment. It's other people. I don't do. That ain't me. I don't supposed to understand what I look like. Come on, that's not my destiny. It's other people's maybe. It's just not mine. Everybody got their place for healing and your unique contribution to the. It's just not mine. So it ain't for me to be trying to figure all that out. You understand? And I know I ain't finna do that without open enemy. When you show me who you are, as our great ancestor, Dr. Maya Angelou told us, when somebody shows you who they are the first time, she said, believe them. So the fact that Black folks are still sitting up here trying to treat the oppressor like they regular and normal, it's not what's wrong with them. The question is, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? The same way I don't sit there and try to reason with no cat. I'm not trying to understand the background of a bear. I'm not sitting there, if I see the bear coming, I'm not sitting there saying, wonder where he lives. Wonder if we should go to lunch together. Everything in me says he lives outside, you live inside. Stay inside living and let them stay outside. Amy Schumer and everybody else, you better watch your mouth. We're not going to let them Karens get away with invoking our ancestors and their madness. You better watch your mouth. You better watch your mouth. Some of you all don't even understand what ancestor reverence is. She invoked the Black ancestors' vibration and energy in modern times. That's how powerful we are. And some of you all didn't even get it. This is the reason why I continue to do these ancestor webinars that I never knew anybody ever to exist before to do one. Just did one recently, 3.5 hours. It will absolutely shape your life. I've been doing rituals weeks before that. So I know your families are going to experience breakthroughs. And I'm finishing up my last ritual for those who purchased the replay and for those who attended the live Ancestors webinar. The replay is available now on my website. The link is in the chat at VickiPlanet.com. All of you all who have been given to my Cash App and my PayPal, thank you all so much. My moderator has been so kind to put that information in there. You can also get the giving information when you go to that same website. The link is in the chat at the bottom of the first page. Be on the lookout, family. Make sure you're part of my email list at VickiPlanet.com, because I'm not doing Club Vicki anymore with that collaboration with one of the networks I was on. There's some behind the scenes stuff going on right now, which I won't get into right now. I'm letting my appropriate legal team handle all of that. So I'm not in a position to where I'm controlling a lot of the things. So that's the reason why your sister can't speak on a lot of stuff. And some of my communication obviously is limited to what I can say even to you. So I'm doing my monthly mastermind school that's going to be now called the Vicki Dillard Mystery School. So make sure you're on my email list, because my team is going to send you a notification so that you can join. It's going to be dirt cheap. $40-some odd a month. That's it. That's all for some of the most powerful information that you're going to get during our monthly mastermind course, along with some very powerful rituals. I want to let you all know my baby is here. How many of y'all know I've been talking about this for a long time? My luxury magazine. This is my Venus magazine. Yours truly is on the cover. Y'all look at the back. I just love it. I don't care what them haters say. Talk black to me. We all deserve abundance. And I am doing a luxury magazine. Why? I don't feel like all of us have to be 6 and 7 figures, sis, for us to enjoy a yummy life. Talk black to me. I decided, yes, with a straight face, I don't do a luxury magazine to make luxury and us changing the idea, redefining luxury so that it's something that all of us, the everyday divine feminine, can enjoy. This is a special edition. You all know I'm a small business, so we're getting them printed off. We only have a limited few hard copies. The rest of them are going to be digital in a few weeks. So if you want to get the limited hard copy, get yours right now. The website up there, VickiPlanet.com. Y'all are saying beautiful queen. Some people are saying awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. I am so excited. I don't know of any Black luxury magazine like this. It is going to be so yummy, powerful information and certain offers that you are just going to absolutely love. Beautiful images. And I'm going to continue this. So get yours at VickiPlanet.com. It's going to be a few weeks before we ship the first ones out. But again, these are pre-sales. And then in a few weeks, the digital version is going to be available. But you don't want to wait on this, because you are going to get a part of history. My first official formal magazine. Somebody said a yummy life. Yes, beloved, a yummy life. That's right, Miss J. Abundance is our birthright. That's my point. People want you to think because you're not living, have 8 figures that we don't have the right to enjoy a yummy life. I want to talk about how I'm defining and redefining luxury for us. Talk black to me, somebody. And I think that all of us will love this, and it includes yummy images. And most importantly, ladies, the information I'm sharing in this every single month, you're going to get some insight or particular activation and some knowledge that was taught by like priestesses and like in some of the ancient Isis temples to initiates. So some of the stuff I've downloaded spiritually and some things that I have learned that has to do with the unique way that the divine woman manifests. We manifest through our womb. We're not supposed to manifest like the masculine. So, brothers, if you're watching me, you're not off the hook. Brothers, you need to be getting this ASAP. Order this for the lovely lady in your life. If it's your wife, it's your daughter, if it's your sister, you want to get yours today. I am so excited, family. You know, people, you all have affectionately called me the queen of black media. Of course, we use alternative media. Y'all know over the years, your sister with the curly braids have been on multiple platforms, use my cell phone and laptop to reach people. But my upcoming book is coming out in a few months. My magazine is coming out. Why am I bringing that up? Because I don't believe that my media impact should be limited to the number of subscribers that you have on YouTube. Talk Black to Me. And yes, I'm grateful for all the fields that I get to sow my message into on different online platforms. But we're expanding it to my book coming out in a few months. You'll see that soon. But also my magazine. This is a form of media. Are y'all hearing me? Didn't you all hear some of the stuff that I just talked about, or how these white women worked and they used their social networks to facilitate white supremacy? They used parades. They use their social groups. They use their engagement with the local schools. Are y'all hearing me? They use their religion. They use their churches. It's okay for us to love life, but why don't we use these types of things, books? Let's expand our notion of what media is. So even when my haters come, you can never limit your sister with the curly braids. Talk Black to Me. I love you all so much. Go to VickiPlanet.com. Any information you need there, from making sure you're on my email list so that you're getting notifications, being on my email list so that you can get the notifications for the next Ancestors webinar. If you want to get the replay for the next Ancestors, for the Ancestors webinar that we just did, that's 3.5 hours, that's going to change your life, where me and my brother Rod Hayes discussed the Black women, the Sibyls, Mammy Watchers, ancient Black Sibyls, who the Vatican stole their rights from. The undue impact and influence that the Vatican wields throughout the earth is not just religion. The religion is the tricks for just the masses. They use that religion to trick the masses. The powers that shouldn't be, the elite group, the small handful of people that wield power throughout the world, they laughing at you, smoking their cigars. What does the statement say? That religion is the opiate of the masses? That's true. For the Black ancient prophetesses, it was never religion. They got instructions from the spirit. Their open enemy misused it. And believe it or not, when you look at the history of it, even their own Black men misused it and tried to overthrow these Black women because of the unusual powers that the brothers wanted to have. And they were some of the first ones that sold some of the Black Sibyls into slavery. So some of the persecution that you read in the book of Revelation is not even about those 7 churches that they talk about. They were actually those temples that belonged to these Black Sibyls. And those prophecies that you read there were prophecies against those that are responsible for their persecution. But some of the Sibyls actually prophesied their end, but they prophesied the doom of their oppressors. And you must know, their spirit and their energy is at work in the world again. So everything that we're dealing with here in the United States, throughout the continent of Africa, in Sudan, Sahel, West Africa, all these other places where these uprisings are taking place, the Middle East, Gaza, and all that, do you all know that it's interrelated to the ancient Black mother? And when she is properly restored, that is when divine peace will come. We discussed that in great detail, and you get the benefit of having rituals activated for your lineage when you purchase the replay, and certainly those of you that attended the original Ancestors webinar, okay? I brought you the best to join me to break down their history, and I have been literally giving my life and limb over the past few weeks to intercede for your families. So you can expect breakthroughs. Go to VickiPlanet.com for all this information. I love you so much. I'm your sister with the curly braids. I bow to you. You are my bliss. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to share. Tell everybody you know that Vicki, yes, she's on different other places. There have been some changes, but be sure to let them know that she's building her own live weekly Vicki show here at VickiDillard.tv. Somebody said, I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much. Love you, beautiful queen. I love you back. Somebody said, love you and thank you. I love you back and you're so welcome. Miriam said, I just purchased your magazine. Thank you. And you all know what? Y'all have been tripping me out, because before I even officially posted a few days ago, we were already getting sales. So I think that there's a real appetite I'm only, again, making the hard copy a small portion because I told my team, let's just do one bulk for the hard copy. And so when we run out, that's it. So don't nobody be messaging me talking about 2 weeks later, can I get the hard copy? I'm letting you know now it's only a limited amount that we're making the hard copy because in a few weeks, I'm going to have it digital. Okay? Somebody say, can I get your Cash App, please? Yes, beloved. Our beautiful moderators have been putting that in the chat, but we'll put it here for you right now. OPWVICKI is in the chat right there. $, OPWVICKI, OPWVICKI. Again, all of you that have been given your gifts are blessed 1,000-fold. PayPal, you can go to @thevickydillard.com. You're so welcome. I thank you. We're family. Family, let's give each other a break. Let's understand that in war, there are different types of soldiers. Your function is not my function. My function is not your function. Let's just make sure that our goals and our targets are the same. Are y'all hearing me today? I love you all so much. You're my greatest and highest privilege. I can't wait to see you again.